blow some balloons.
Pat, you said that this is violating our airspace, so why not take it down?
Yeah, so, clearly as we assess options and considering the size of the payload on this, looking at the potential for debris and the impact on civilians on the ground or property damage.
Please describe America to me in one single word.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was the foothills of the...
Space. Wanna go to space?
Aliens.
Or more appropriately,
where are the aliens?
we have Karin, Jean, what was it? I'm sorry, I forget. Pierre, John, what was her name? I forgot her name.
Jean-Pierre.
Karin Jean-Pierre, thank you. You have her talking about aliens.
I just wanted to make sure we address this from the White House. I know there have been questions and concerns about this, but there is no indication of aliens or extraterrestrial activity with these recent takedowns. Again, there is no indication of aliens or terrestrial activity with these recent takedowns. Wanted to make sure that the American people knew that, all of you knew that, and it was important for us to say that from here because we've been hearing a lot about it. I'm not. Would you tell us? I'm just, I loved E.T., the movie, but I'm just going to leave it there.
Okay. Did she say terrestrial?
Yes. So that was one mistake. I mean, we're all very proud of her for making it through a sentence, but she did make a whoopsie. She did say terrestrial, which was interesting. Yeah. I thought that the rousing laughter from the White House press corps, was just strange. It was just kind of weird, considering that the mainstream media across the board, as we just saw with Vice last episode, it's like if you are ignoring that these possibly could be or most likely are UFOs, as is being pushed by the mainstream. If you ignore that theory and you have a different theory, then you are an outcast. You're antisocial for having a different theory than UFOs. With the media obsession with these being UFOs, of course, being used as a distraction from all sorts of things, not any one thing, but at the very least, sort of axiomatically, an effective general distraction from lots of other nefarious things going on. And so it's weird for the White House press corps to laugh along with that, as if they know that what it is, what the whole messaging campaign has been about. I just thought it was almost inappropriate.
I was going to say, you know the Ray Liotta mafia laughing meme. You know what I'm talking about? I'm showing it on the screen here.
The one
it's
you're
like
showing,
the overt
yes,
laughter.
Okay.
That's the kind of vibe I was getting. Like the lizard people laughing in the background, like, like the laughter didn't match the stuff she was saying. And she was kind of plowing through it and trying to get through.
And she really did not say anything funny. It was just the bringing up of UFOs caused this sort of this rousing laughter. Now, it was interesting that they even commented on it at all. And her comment was, we thought it was important that we say it here, meaning the White House, because we've been hearing a lot about that. What do you mean hearing a lot about that? What are you talking about?
If you as government people have been hearing a lot about it, are you saying from the people or from the people you're talking to?
Exactly.
Because then that's a big difference.
From your pilots, from your Navy pilots, and from your balloon rescue teams, and from, yes, you've been hearing a lot about it. I don't know. It was just very strange.
Yeah. We were going to do a sort of a longer balloon thing, but we're going to move into something that just naturally coming out of this whole thing. And let me set it up. So, the DOD, Department of Defense.
Right.
We brought this up last episode. I left a link again in the show notes for anybody who wants to take a look at it. It is a archived version of the actual news transcript from the defense.gov website. And it is the DoD news briefing from 1997. Secretary of Defense William S. Cohen. There's that line where he talks about, phantom moles. By the way, he mentions James Woolsey. Remember James? Do you remember who James Woolsey is?
No, remind me.
Oh, that's James Woolsey. So he's mentioned in this.
The ex-CIA guy who basically admitted that the CIA is
interrupting elections around the world, basically
interfering with elections around the world.
And they talk about phantom moles and how phantom moles can basically cause intelligence institutions to basically be unproductive for years as they try to figure out who the mole is and all this stuff. But let me go back to that comment about the others. It says here, others, and this is again the Cohen, others are engaging even in an eco type of terrorism whereby they can alter the climate, set off earthquakes, volcanoes remotely through the use of electromagnetic waves. So there are plenty of ingenious minds out there that are at work finding ways to which they can wreak terror upon other nations. It's real. That's the reason why we have to intensify our efforts. And that's why this is so important. Again, 1997. Okay, so given that, it says DOD, 1997, talking about eco-type terrorism, that they can control the weather, cause earthquakes, volcanoes to erupt using electromagnetic waves. Let's go to 2023 on Heart Day. SpaceNews.com. DOD can tune space surveillance sensors to track spy balloons. Okay, so now we're coming out and we're talking about the DOD getting involved with watching what's going on here. Won't read the whole article, but got some key parts here. Washington, as the Pentagon continues to recover the remnants of the Chinese spy balloon shot down February 4th off the coast of South Carolina, the Biden administration is forming an interagency group to investigate these aerial surveillance objects and study options for their detection and analysis. We've talked about that. One of those options would be to tune the U.S. military's space surveillance sensors to help detect high-altitude aerial surveillance platforms in the upper layer of the atmosphere. John Plum, Assistant Secretary of Defense for Space Policy, said February 14th. Speaking at a Mitchell Institute Aerospace Studies event, Plum said his office has participated in multi-agency discussions on the implications of China deploying spy balloons over U.S. airspace. Quote, obviously, the U.S. government's been focused on this issue for a couple of weeks now, including myself. Talks about NORAD, talks about just the stuff from that balloon. Plum explained there is, quote unquote, sensor overlap in the military's network of conventional radars, phased array radars, and telescopes that are used for air defense, missile defense, and space domain awareness. The systems that provide space domain awareness, quote, can also be tuned, of course, to look at the stratosphere, he said. The military's collection of sensors is called the Space Surveillance Network, with systems dispersed across multiple sites worldwide. NORAD first deployed these sensors during the Cold War as an early warning system to detect ballistic missiles. Quote, how to tune those or understand how to use the information coming back from them to get better awareness of that domain is definitely part of the solution, end quote, to the detection of high-altitude balloons, Plum added. Okay. It's right balance, yada, yada, yada. Mitchell Institute Chair Kevin Chilton, a retired U.S. Air Force general, noted that until the recent discovery of the Chinese balloon, that section of the higher atmosphere was not getting much attention. Quote, there wasn't a lot going on there, so maybe our focus was a little lower in the atmosphere, and now we have to pay attention, Chilton told Plum. Plum pointed out that the U.S. military radars are trained for cruise missile threats, and the balloon problem is not just a Department of Defense issue.
The balloon problem.
The balloon problem. Okay, so again, it's setting up this whole balloon thing that it's still a threat. Okay, it wasn't aliens, maybe not Chinese spy. Not all of them are Chinese spy balloons, but it's a threat.